Are you thinking about selling your home without an agent? Be honest. Does it feel like the smarter, simpler, more cost-effective way to go? I mean, why would you pay anyone thousands of dollars if you can get a sign, stick it in your yard, and call it a day? Well, let me ask you this. What if I told you what looks like a shortcut could actually be costing you thousands of dollars? Not to mention your time and your peace of mind. In this video, I'm going to share with you the hidden costs, the challenges, and the risk of selling your home without professional representation. By the end, you will have the information to make the best decision for you and your family. If we haven't met yet, I'm Tammy Broxson, your trusted real estate advisor. But before that, I was a homeowner trying to sell my house for sale by owner to save the money. And guess what? It didn't work out for me. But I will tell you that story later if you stay to the end. Since then, I did get my real estate license, and now I have seen it all. Sellers who tried it with another agent, and sellers who just didn't even know where to begin. Today, we're going to dive in deep, and we're going to tackle the for sale by owner conversation head on. So if you are even thinking about selling your home on your own, this video is for you. And if you've ever tried selling your home without an agent, drop a comment below. I would love to hear your story. And while you're there, would you go ahead and hit the subscribe button so other people can find this video too, and I don't feel so alone with my one subscriber. Let's start with the biggest reason why people go for sale by owner, because I did too, and that was the money. I wanted to save on the money. The logic seems simple. I don't pay a commission, I put more money in my pocket. But let's think about it a little bit deeper. Since you're going to be representing yourself, you are now going to be in charge of the cost of the professional photography, the staging, and all of the marketing. And do you know how to market your home to the widest audience without the use of the multiple listing service? But even more importantly, the lesson I learned the hard way is, do you know how to price your home accurately? So here's a kicker. For sale by owners normally sell for 17% less than a seller who had professional representation. That is tens of thousands of dollars. And in my case, it was going to be $50,000. All because I wanted to save on the compensation. So was I really going to be making a savings? No. Let's talk about the marketing, because when you sell the home on your own, you are responsible for all of the marketing and the cost. Because hey, without marketing, how are you going to get buyers through the door? And the reality is 90% of buyers are already working with an agent. And often the 10% that aren't, they're investors and they are looking to lowball your property. Listen, if you are not on the multiple listing service, you are invisible to the largest majority of buyers. Buyers are not just driving around neighborhoods waiting for a sign to pop up and saying, honey, let's go over here and look at that. No, today's buyers are shopping online, and many of them are coming from out of state, and that is what you're going to miss. The ones driving around looking for that for sale by owner sign, they're the bargain hunters and they're the investors. And they are looking to take advantage of your lack of experience. I mean, think about it. Do you want to market your property to just a handful of buyers that might drive by, or are you wanting to market it to hundreds, if not thousands of buyers? Next, negotiation isn't about just the price. There are other things to consider, like the inspection report. How much is going to go into escrow? When is going to be your closing? Are you going to negotiate anything for repairs? Don't forget what happens with appraisal gaps and closing costs and concessions. So here's the question. Do you really feel confident enough to go head to head with a real estate professional who is seasoned with many years in the business and hundreds, if not thousands, of closed transactions standing behind them? Here are just some examples of what you might face. You might have a buyer who is demanding repairs or credits after the inspection period, or a low appraisal that doesn't match the sales price, or worse, a buyer who suddenly can't close on time, or even worse, isn't able to close at all. Since we're talking about negotiations, let me tell you my story. As a real estate professional and an investor, I am always looking for the next investment. So of course I opened it up and found for sale by owners, because that's where the best deals are, really. So I contacted a seller who was selling the property for $300,000. He said if he didn't sell it to me, that he would then put it on the market for like $312,000. So I said, let me take a look at it. So I went and looked at the property. It's 4-bedroom, 2-bath. It was in rough condition, but that house was worth every bit of $325. And I offered $285, and he took it. And he left all that money on the table because he didn't hire professionals to look out after his best interests, know what the values are, and be able to negotiate on his behalf. So if you go into negotiations without a professional in your corner, it's easy to give in, give up, or just get overwhelmed. So let's be honest. Can you put a price tag on your peace of mind? Now let's dive into the not so fun part, the paperwork. And there is a lot of it. Selling your home is a legal transaction, and one tiny mistake can have huge consequences. The biggest one that we see is failure to disclose. What exactly do you have to tell? How much do you have to share? Because you don't want to share so much that you scare somebody off, but you don't want to share too little that you end up being sued after closing. Do you know all of the contracts and their addendums that are required? What happens if the buyer backs out, or worse, they want to sue you after closing for non-disclosure? The second biggest thing that we see in the paperwork is what happens to the escrow if the contract fails to close. Who is going to get it? When you work with a professional real estate agent, they make sure that every document that you need is there and every detail is covered. Without that expertise, you are taking on all the legal and financial risk yourself. Is that something you really want to do? Now let's get real for a moment, because selling a house is emotional. You're not just selling a property. You are saying goodbye to all the special moments, the memories, and the milestones in that home. Now imagine that somebody comes in and gives you a low-ball offer or harsh feedback, or they disrupt your day by scheduling showings that they don't show up for, or they're very early or really, really late. All of that on top of your regular responsibilities and your work schedule. Honestly, it can be exhausting. With a professional agent, you have somebody who's going to manage all that for you. They're going to be a buffer between the buyer's agent and you, so they can filter those harsh comments, manage the showings at times that are convenient and do work for you, and help keep the emotions in check. It's not just about convenience, it's about protecting your well-being. Finally, let's talk about the cost you can't afford to overlook, and that is leaving money on the table. As I said in the beginning, and I will say it again, statistics show that for sale by owners sell for less than listed with a professional real estate agent. And then you factor in the time, the money, the marketing, and the stress, the financial and the legal risk. I mean, is it worth it? Here's the truth. A great real estate agent does not cost you money, they make you money. They maximize the sale, minimize the risk, and make sure every detail is covered. Now, since you stuck around this far, here's my personal story. When I was going through my divorce, we needed to sell the house. And of course, we wanted to save as much money as possible because we were divorcing and we would have to each buy our own property. So we decided we're gonna go for sale by owner. Now, we paid for the marketing, the advertising, got the signs, didn't know what I was doing. We got a lot of people that came by, kicked the tires a little bit, promised that they loved the house and that we would hear from them. We didn't hear from anybody. Because we didn't know what we were doing, we didn't know how to value property, we listed our house at that time for $300,000. And we got some offers around $250,000, which wasn't gonna work because we paid $285,000 for it. So after closing costs, there was no money left. Finally, after 3 months, I threw my hands in the air. I was tired of getting stood up for showings. I was just tired. And I called my friend who waited patiently in the corner, and she came in and she listed the house at $350,000. $50,000 more than I listed it for, and I got an offer at $250,000. She had it under contract within a week. Now, there were some buyer problems in that situation, and she navigated it. She took all the stress. By the time she called us, she had already worked out any issues that were coming up, and we had a smooth and successful closing. And I did not know what the monkey show was going on in the background because she took care of it, and I could just focus on my divorce and my family. So let me ask you, is selling your home on your own really the best way to go? Or should you consider exploring professional representation? If you're ready to talk about selling your home and explore your options, no commitment, check out the link below for time to book a call with me, and I would love to discuss it with you. See you on the next video.